Tell me what a man finds sexually attractive, and I will tell you his entire philosophy of life. Sleeping with a woman and inviting a woman into your life as a relationship are two different things. We saw it with the OnlyFans girl on one side. Oh, I'm beautiful and all sort of thing, buy my OnlyFans. A woman should not be hard to conquer at all, because only the possession of a heroine will give him the sense of achievement, not the possession of a brainless slut. This is in her younger years. She's far from attractive when it comes to Russian women. I think she's probably the first Russian woman that I've seen that is actually attractive. Well, actually, there's a lot of manosphere people that really like her stuff. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Ayn Rand. I don't know if it's Ayn or Anne. Do you know who this chick is? She wrote a book called Atlas Shrugged. She's a Russian philosopher. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I came across something here the other day, which I shared to get some feedback, and it's a quote, and I think this will be interesting to sort of dissect if this is her, but it says, a man's sexual choice is the result and the sum of his fundamental convictions. Now, keep in mind, again, she is a philosopher, okay? Or she claims to be a philosopher. Tell me what a man finds sexually attractive, and I would tell you his entire philosophy of life. Well, what do men find sexually attractive? Curves, Coke bottle, like, boobs and butt, basically, TNA, right? So she's all of a sudden trying to turn this into, it's about the brain and it's about fundamentals beyond just like the optics of sexiness and reproduction and reproductive health and stuff like this. This is what I'm getting at in a second. You'll see it, more towards the end. And I would tell you his entire philosophy on life. Show me the woman he sleeps with, and I will tell you his valuation of himself. He will always be attracted. Again, sleeping with a woman and inviting a woman into your life as a relationship are two different things. He will always be attracted to the woman who reflects his deepest vision of himself, the woman whose surrender permits him to experience or to fake a sense of self-esteem. The man who is proudly certain of his own value will want the highest type of woman he can find. The woman he admires, the strongest, the hardest to conquer. Hardest to conquer sounds like difficulty. It sounds like disagreeableness. It sounds like bitchiness. It feels like boss girl sort of stuff. Like, a woman should not be hard to conquer at all, because only the possession of a heroine will give him the sense of achievement, not the possession of a brainless slut. Now, before we sort of dive into that, I want to, because not everybody knows who she is or what she looks like. So I'll show you a photograph here of her here. This is in her younger years. She's far from attractive when it comes to Russian women. I think she's probably the first Russian woman that I've seen that is actually attractive. And she even got worse in her later years, but she was well regarded. Like, she was an icon of philosophers. A lot of people, actually, there's a lot of manosphere people that really like her stuff. Yeah. And they often reference Atlas Shrugged, which is the main book that she kind of got a name for. Share screen. This is her later in life with a little cigarette with an extension in her hand. But yeah, so the reason why I brought that up is I thought it was interesting, because women, regardless of level of intellect, apparently, like, she had a very high IQ. Like, she wasn't stupid, and she was described as a philosopher. She didn't want to be seen as a beauty object, as a sex object, or any of those things. Women will always sell you whatever their virtues are, right? We saw it with the OnlyFans girl on one side, of the spectrum. When we were doing ladies' night, we saw a lot of the OnlyFans girls like, oh, I'm beautiful and all sort of thing, buy my OnlyFans, right? They just want to focus on that. And they'll talk, but they sound like idiots. And then you've got this one over here, who's a philosopher, who's an intellect, who holds out to be an intellect, who's disparaging the brainless sluts, who says that you as a man want possession of a heroine. You as a man want the hardest to conquer. And then she goes on to disparage guys who choose to be intimate with women on a short-term basis, just sort of like pass on sort of thing. Very, very interesting dynamic I just came across there. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Well, it always boils down to, a real man wants this, a real man wants that. A real man fits whatever I want for my own personal narrative at this given moment in this given time. That's really what it boils down to. And it's like, also, it's a false dichotomy. It's like, oh, this hard to conquer heroine or a brainless slut. Like, as if those are the only two types of women that exist in the entire world. So, again, I don't know where she's basing this off of, but it just goes to show that there's some folks out there that have some really good opinions on some things and completely off base and cuckoo opinions on other things.
All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the Courses tab. Newer to the channel? Hit subscribe.